Hey guys, it's me, Gunworkslayer. What is where we last left off? See, checking. Gonna realize at the end of the last video of what if Deku was Killer Croc, it didn't finish itself. That it cut off before it finished the rest of the video, so I'm sorry about that. But essentially, what he was gonna say is that's something Sister Josephine told me about was the Tooth Fairy. Sorry, I haven't been around. Been dealing with family stuff.
Deku's chest, brings it around.
But we'll be. Oh, don't you dare start. That was Samson. He's being himself again. Quit whining. He just likes to whine when I don't pay attention to him. But anyways, where we last left off, Deku and Bakugo were essentially bodying All Might. They were doing a lot of combination moves between Deku and Bakugo. Deku being the main front runner to hold All Might in place while Bakugo hit him. Now, I've been rewatched the video, re-listened, and I gotta say this. Deku has a flashback, and just finished rewatching again, make sure I got everything. Yeah. Deku ends up having like a bit of a flashback to when Sister Josephine told him about what the Tooth Fairy was, especially like when Deku lost his teeth, or some of his teeth. She told him about the Tooth Fairy, and he was like, what's Tooth Fairy? She explains it's that little magical fairy that comes and takes your teeth, and it gives you money for them. As he's just like, so I can just lose a bunch of teeth and then the Tooth Fairy would give me money? As she's just like, yeah, that's how it works. As he just gets some memories, just like, I'm a crocodile. If I remember, crocodile's teeth do grow back semi-quickly, so he's just like, punches himself in the face and knocks a couple of more out. She's like, what are you doing? He's like, more teeth, more money. She's like, you don't want to give him too many now, do you? He's just like, She's just like, if you give him too many, he won't need any more. He's like, what does he do with the teeth? As Sister Josephine tries to think of something, she's like, he uses it for collecting. He's just like, there's a weird, creepy thing collecting teeth. Nobody cares. As she's just like, it's a good collection. It brings back memories. It's sort of like memories are attached to them. You see, as he's like, oh, okay, I guess that makes sense. It's like, so what do I do with it? She's like, you'll put him under your pillow, and late at night he'll come into your room and take them from underneath your pillow and leave you a certain amount of money. She's like, how much? He's like, it's different for every person. Depends on what got them taken out. He's like, so the more it hurt? Or as she's just like taking a moment to try to explain it, and then it cuts back to the future as Deku's like, oh. As he immediately raises his fist up and just smashes All Might into the ground, he's just like, oh, I miss you, Josephine. You would not believe the life I have now, or I've led. As All Might's just like holding his gun, he's just like, okay, I think I'm good. So Deku and Bakugo both wrap the handcuffs around All Might. As they went, Deku helps All Might up, and he's just like, go, young Midoriya. As he started coughing, he's like, get young Bakugo out of here. She's like, hey, Bakugo, come on. All Might needs a minute to catch his breath. She's like, ha, damn right he should. He's like, we hit him with everything we got. He's like, yep, we sure did. As they're walking away, All Might's just like, oh, damn, young Midoriya. Oh, he's mastered it far better than I thought he would. Oh, so he gets up, he's like cracking, then he like sort of deflates as the camera switch off him. As I'm gonna cut over to Jackster, Luna, and Gang Orc they're having a meeting after Sludge has sort of given them information about how the Meta Liberation Army, or the MLA, has sort of met up with them, or met up with him, as well as the overhaul situation. As if I remember, I said Gang Orca would talk to some of his people that he has inside that sort of tracking that kind of crime, is that he would talk with them about any guy named Overhaul that they would know about. Quit pawing at me. Ow. Anyways, as that's how that was going down, they were having a discussion about how to proceed with this. Quit it. And that they would need to know how to directly attack it. So, as Gang Orca was getting their advice on how to handle the situation, Deku came home and just came by to visit, and they filled him in on the situation too. As they all take a moment to think about it, Deku says, "How do we handle this?" A lot of them don't know, because Gang Orca is the only one that really has any experience planning such a large operation as this, and having an inside mole like Sludge at the moment is really helpful due to the only fact that, get down, don't jump on me while I'm in the chair. The only problem is that they don't know how to proceed further from this. Should they bring in more, people? Because if I remember, All Might and them don't really know about this whole situation. They just know that Sludge has gone away for a bit. This has all really just been contained within the 4 or 5 of them. As they're running this through their head, Deku suggests, should we talk to more heroes about this? Get a larger opinion, so that way we can strike at all of them at once. Because Sludge has had dealings with Shigaraki, Overhaul, and now the MLA. This would be a prime time to get all 3 of those groups, or at least the leaders of those groups, into one location for a multi-headed takedown, like a sting operation, essentially. They're talking about it, going over it, and with Gang Orca's insight on how it would essentially work, is that it would be a very, very good idea, and a lot of them may be more willing to go for it. So as they talk about bringing it up with more of the heroes like Nezu and them, because the staff of UA have been wanting to get after the League of Villains for a little while now. And Sir Nine-Eye would be wanting to get after Overhaul to shut his operation down too. They don't know anyone who's been particularly targeting the MLA, but they could always talk to here. As Gang Orca says, we could always talk to the Commission about taking a chance at them. Sorry, I'm yawning. And that's how they sort of plan this whole situation around. I digress. I'm going to say we're going to switch over to Slug now. I'm going to say the camp has been pushed back for a little bit of time. They aren't immediately going to it after the exams. What they're essentially going to do is that they're going to have Sludge sort of try to get the best of his ability, set up a meeting. As we're over at Sludge now, as he's contacting all these different people. He contacts Overhaul about discussing more about his jog operations. Then he contacts, yes, Samson. He contacts Redestro, about the possibility of becoming more involved in the MLA. And then finally, they talk about more with Shigaraki about getting involved on the next big stunt against the UA students. That is what they are focusing on, and Sludge is doing his best trying to come up with excuses as to why all of a sudden he's all for them, really. Because he's teeter on the edge of, I'm not really going to do it, maybe I'll do that whole sort of deal. As we're going to cut over to that day when they have organized everything. They sort of chose a neutral location to go to since Sludge's place is inside the city. They didn't want to take the risk of involving such powerful people in one location. So they chose out somewhere more secluded, like an abandoned part of the city. They chose a more abandoned part of the city, so that way it wouldn't be as much trouble. As they've been going over how to handle it entirely, realizing that this situation would be a lot more tricky than he first realized. As he's running it through his head, how does he ensure that he gets out of here unscathed? How does he set it up to where none of them are suspicious? As he's meticulously detailed this bit by bit by bit by bit by bit for almost every minute detail he's had, and like I said, groups of heroes have come together to sort of form on this. So this is going to be like a multi-strike team formed of the staff of UA, Night Eye's group, like Fat Gum, Rocklock, Centipede, all those kind of people are going to be there for that. And as for the Meta Liberation Army, it isn't going to be the whole group of them, but it's going to be a smaller, more powerful group. With mainly Redestro being the head, since he wanted to come on more friendly terms, you could say. Oh, this alarm going off. Sorry about that. Alright. There you go. Sorry about that. As this is how the situation is being forwarded and how they're going to attempt to tackle it. And launch track. But I'll digress and cut straight to the sting operation, I'll just call it. As they're setting up, Sludge has informed his lieutenants, I'll just call them, that this is what's happening and that the heroes are going to help knock down some of these bigger players. So that way, like I said, if I remember, I said Sludge was more like a illegal gambling sort of deal. That's what he's been putting up, and that's what he's like based his thing around. Why does my thing just keep going off? Sorry about that. It's just notifications. Go on, stop it. Okay, I'll just turn that down. There you go. Anyways, again, sorry. It goes on like this. As I said up there, the first group to arrive is the MLA. Next is Overhaul. As he's dealing with the MLA, Overhaul's like, what is this? Thought you were wanting to talk to us about joining our group. What is this, Sludge? And Sludge is just like, it's nothing, it's nothing. I've just been offered multiple invitations from multiple groups is all. I'm just here, I just have all you here to explain to me why I should join each of your group individually. What things you can promise me and that whatnot. As then you have Shigaraki and them teleporting in. At this point, he's going to bring the entire Vanguard Action Squad. Muscular, Moonfish, Toga, Dobby twice, Mr. Compress, Miss Magni, that whole group, and Mustard. As I'm just going to say this, as they're all waiting, as Shigaraki's just like, what is this? I didn't know there were supposed to be extra NPCs. He's scratching his neck. As they're all waiting for this, as they're listening, you got Sludge who has like somewhat like a mic on him. Sorry. As he has a mic on him, as they're all listening to this. Gang Orca and them are off in the mountains somewhere listening to this. As then you got All Might and Deku on standby, as they were sort of able to work this out that this will be another internship for Deku and that he's going to be worked directly under All Might. As Deku and All Might, if it comes down to it, they're going to go in there, blitzkrieg Shigaraki's group at the very least. Overhauling them and the MLA to them at the very least is not a secondary objective. They're all primary objectives for each group to take on. The MLA is the one that they're somewhat worried about, but they won't focus entirely on them. as they're listening to this and they hear how negotiations are going, it goes a bit like this. As Sludge is like, now that we're all seated here, we can be all calm, respectful, and you guys can tell me what each of you will offer my group to join you. Go on. Who should go first? Shall we go who first approached me? Alright. LV, what have you got? He's just like, we can promise you by taking down this dang hero society. As he's like scratching his neck. It's just like, and why would I want to do that? It's because like, you hate them, I hate them, destroy them. Simple as it is, really. As then you got Overhaul and Redestro, who just essentially go like, huh. And Shigar's like, got a problem? Weird bird mask and whoever you are. As they both sort of like take a scowl at Shigaraki, Overhaul is just like, my name is Overhaul. I'm part of the 8 Precepts of Death. I lead a Chizaikai group, I believe is what they're called. And he says that I'll offer you things that can help increase your quirks, as well as the fact I'll give you bullets that can help deactivate quirks for a period of time. If you're willing to sell my product inside your districts. As in, Sludge nods his head, and this being's quite boring, but I digress. Redestro, or MLA, she's like, well, as you just heard him, I am Redestro. And we're here to help value overthrow this stupid society that wishes to hold us back from using our gifts, our meta abilities, so that way we may, as he takes a moment, so that way we may put the strongest and greatest on top. As Sludge like is nodding his head like he's agreeing to it, and he's just like, question is, where does that leave my group, Redestro? My group is not made of the most powerful people. You know this. She's like, so? What does that matter? He's like, we even have a couple of Quirkus people mixed in our ranks. It's just like, Quirkus. As Redestro sort of sneers at that, but he's just like, if you're worried about your people would be fine. They'd just be free to express themselves and use their abilities as they wish. As Sludge is nodding along, he's like, Overhaul, you asked me to spread drugs. Very dangerous drugs, as a matter of fact. And the fact that that stuff could be traced back to you, which then could be traced to me, or vice versa, it would bring down more people on my head. Gambling's a safer bet to go with. Shigaraki, the society may suck, but the society that created each and every one of us. Whether that's good or bad, I don't know. Each of you sound like complete absolute idiots. As he goes, point one, you're a spoiled man-child that's gotten his way all his life. You, I'm pretty sure what I've heard, you backstab your old man in the back from what I hear, and you keep spouting some nonsense about superiority through quirks. That's quirkist. I'm not dealing with any of this. None of you are really fit to have anything to deal with my group. Shigaraki's like, what's the point of bringing us out here? He's like scratching his neck. He's like, you damn NPC. He's just like, well, it's been fun, nice knowing you guys. As Redestro's like, as he's getting ready, as he's starting to summon his quirk, as he can tell something's about to come down, Overhaul's removing his glove, and Shigaraki's just like starts disintegrating the table. But as Sludge stands up completely and activates his quirk, he's like, time to take you to church. As then you hear, like, you see flares into the sky that signal for it's time to go, as you have SWAT, police officers, and combination of all heroes coming in. You got All Might, Deku, Eraserhead, Night-Eye, Centipede, Bubble Girl, Mirio, Gran Torino, the entirety of Staff UA as Midnight unleashes swaths of her gas over everyone. You got Mustard who tries to send his gas out to sort of mix with it. You got Dobby trying to throw like flame blast. And there's also Endeavor. So each group is actually like being attacked by people meant to counter them. This all in all, this is more like a gamble that's sort of paying off. As in, you got Kurogiri tries to deactivate or tries to teleport Shigaraki and them away. But I'm gonna say, thanks to Night Eye and them, they were able to get a hand on some of that temporarily quirk erasing bullet. As they shoot at Kurogiri, or Aizawa is using his quirk on him, or the other, they're able to deactivate his quirk as Kurogiri is actually stolen away rather quickly. As like Shigaraki's like, Kurogiri! As then he dodges out of the way and disintegrates a police officer. Deku comes smashing in and is like, smash! As Muscular is about to trample on a couple of people, but Deku just punches him like into the mountain. It is just a mosh pit. Some villains are going after each other because they think this was a setup made by the other person. You got Sludge and his group Sludge's lieutenants have fallen back, but Sludge is still up there to keep with helping everybody. As he's zooming around, like slapping, punching people, whatever he can do. All Might's in reserve, so that way he doesn't have to use up all his time. As Deku's blitzkrieging through them, taking out like dozens of them, like within a matter of a minute. Overall, slams his hands on the ground and starts causing those spikes to go everywhere. He's impaling Meta Liberation, police officers, whoever. Rocklock almost gets hit as he's snatched away by Aizawa with his catcher scarf. It is just insane how everything is just falling to like chaos. As Toga's been sent after to go grab Kurogiri, as she relatively quickly dispatches with the officers by throwing knives and just essentially just slitting their throats. They're smashing, killing, gunshots, everything. You hear guys screaming in the background with them being burned by cremation. It is just a very, very bad day for everybody. Sorry. As you see this happening, you can see a look come between Redestro, Overhaul, and Shigaraki at once as they all look at each other, and they all somewhat give like a knowing look as they intend, as Redestro says, "Brothers of the Liberation Army, band together with the other groups. We will push out this hero filth." Overall's just like, "Precepts of death, kill them all." As he actually decides to take the very muscular guy, he's like, "Come here." My voice is going a bit hoarse, I'm sorry. He essentially tells him to get over here as they take this opportunity as he disassembles him and then reforms him into his thing. As in, you got like people like Rampa going around punching everybody. He's just like punch, 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 punch. So he gets into his little duel with Fat Gum in action, and they fight it out. Kirishima and like the other Class 1A students aren't here. Strictly Deku, for the simple fact that you always recognize that his stance as the powerhouse, that he's going to become next, because they see him as like All Might but scary looking. And then you get Shigaraki's group. They're attacking out like feral animals. Shigaraki's killed like at least 10 people at this point. Dobby's killed quite a few as well. As it's actually on their side that they've actually killed more people. Overhaul's group has knocked out more though. Like, Rampa punches people, that knocks him out. The guy named Slosh, who drinks a lot, that knocks him out. He's got the guy, and they probably have like less than half the kills that Shigaraki's group has. Same thing goes to the Meta Liberation Army. The normal people, like normal police officers and stuff, are more like being taken down, while the heroes are actually being, like they're trying to actually kill the heroes. Deku sees the leader of like Overhaul as he sees him like disassemble a guy and then reform into this giant monster. Deku's just like, oh, so it's gonna be that thing. So he jumps forward, unleashes a powerful kick like straight up, sending him into the air. As he's just like, well, this is not gonna be fun. Smash! As he slams his fist down and sends him falling straight down to the ground, crushing a lot more people. Because like I said, Deku has a lot more power in this since he's able to activate it fully. Launching himself up into the air, he does that like sort of finishing move where he launches like 100 punches and knocks Overhaul out really quickly. As then you got freaking Night Eyes quirk as he actually used it on Deku. And he actually knows what's going to happen in a little bit, and he's counting the time. He's just like, 1, 2, 3. As he's been keeping track of how long it takes before things start falling apart for the heroes. And I'll get to that in a minute. You get where all the villains and such are coming down, slamming, killing, whatever they want to do, really. Deku and them are roaring and essentially defiance as they're trying to fight everything. And they're actually succeeding. A lot of heroes are taking a lot of villains, like, to the point that there's pretty much just some of the heavier hitters on each side. Like, Redestro's still going, as well as Shigaraki and his Vanguard Action Squad. As then you cut over to where Deku essentially falls down on top of Redestro, punches him as solid as he can, and launches him into the mountain right next to Muscular. As he sort of lets off like a Godzilla-like roar, as he turns around and points to Shigaraki, he's like, "You're next, Shigaraki!" He's like, "No, no, no!" As then you got Sludge, who appears and is trying to take down Twice and Miss Magni, as Shigaraki's just like, "You damn puddle!" As he reaches out and grabs onto if I remember, did I make him immune to Shigaraki's thing? I think I actually did. Wow. Huh. Well, that was my mistake. Well, I'm gonna say Shigaraki grabs onto his eye, since that's the only tangible part, as then like Twice and Magni sort of get him to get cornered, as then Deku sees in somewhat slow motion as he grabs onto Sludge's eye, as Sludge just looks over at Deku real quick. It's just like, oh shit. And then he starts decaying. He like grabs a section and like throws it off, but now he's essentially lost an eye, so he runs back. And he's more panicked. He's just like, oh, that hurt so much. God. Deku comes trying to rush in, but then a black portal appears out of nowhere. As then Kurogiri retrieves the League of Villains, as Deku grabs Kurogiri just before he's able to get taken. But then he gets blasted away by a powerful explosion, sending him flying back. As then it opens even wider to like the size of like a buildings. As in you get a big creature that's boom, 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 and a man in a very nice black suit. As Deku recovers from getting punched away. As in Shigaraki's like, "Master!" And who is that? She's like, "That, Shigaraki, is Gigantomachia." And she's like, "Master calls for me." She's like, "Yes, Gigantomachia." As he sort of snaps his fingers like, "Kill him." As Gigantomachia is like, "Yes, what Master wants." He lets out a roar and starts charging down Deku. And he's just like, "Let us see if you are able to take on this, successor." As he moves out, as he gets teleported back to wherever he was. That's Overhaul and the MLA, or at least the leaders, or some of the leaders of the MLA, taken care of. And, well, this next fight's gonna be quite exciting. Gigantomachia versus Deku. Well, this will be exciting. But anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this. Hope you guys continue to enjoy this. My throat is killing me. Sure brought my water, but anyways, hope you guys enjoy this. Hope you guys continue to enjoy this, and hope you guys have a nice day, nice night, nice life.